At Intel, world-changing ideas start with real solutions, and real solutions start with exceptional engineering. The quantum computing revolution, the next generation of AI experts, the renewable energy grid, early diagnosis for cancer. The examples are countless. The impacts are endless. But the foundation is always the same. It starts with Intel. Learn more at intel.com/stories.
From cloud storage to cold storage, hardware to tableware, business expenses look different to every business. With American Express Business Gold, you get 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories each month, like advertising purchases, so you can enjoy looking forward to great rewards. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more, including important category limitations, at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
Hello, welcome to Unequal Sequel
Extra.
Bum 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 diddle diddle diddle. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to try and review Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Okay.
Do you accept that mission?
I accept that mission. Are you going to self-destruct in 30 seconds?
I'll probably just belch or fart and that'll be it. Yeah, we're here. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're Unequal Sequel, the podcast that talks about sequels. My name is Dave, and that voice you heard there is Rich. Say hello, Rich.
Hello, Rich.
It's really weird with these new headphones because I can barely hear myself talk. So, will that help?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better. They're incredible, guys. Thanks for listening to the ads.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for listening to the ads. You paid for our Zoom subscription and Dave's new headphones.
We're actually pro now. It's amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. How are you all? That's where I expect them to reply and say,
Yeah, they don't reply.
I'm well, Dave.
They never reply, do they? Never.
We are talking Mission Impossible, or Mission : Impossible dash Dead Reckoning.
I
dash,
don't know. There's
Part 1.
Something about something going on.
We've been waiting for this one for a long time. It's been made for about 3 years, it seems, at this point.
Yeah.
I think they kicked it off in 2019 before the pandemic. And
They were filming it in Leighton Buzzard during the pandemic.
they filmed during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now it's finally out, and we get to talk about it. It's been out for a couple of weeks now, so I feel like we can talk spoilers without being, too afraid to ruin it for everyone. So if you haven't seen Mission : Impossible dash Dead Reckoning dash Part 1, turn off now and go and see Mission : Impossible dash Dead Reckoning dash Part 1. That's the last time I'm going to make that joke.
Okay. Good.
Richard, let's kick this off, and the only way we know how to, in some bizarre and just one of your classic synopsises, really.
One of my classic rambling attempts at telling you what happened in this movie.
I mean, you're a better person than me if you know. So,
yeah. So essentially, it's a MacGuffin hunt. It's a MacGuffin hunt, and then a MacGuffin hunt, and then a bit more MacGuffin hunt.
Right.
So, yeah. I hope I haven't confused anyone. If you don't know what MacGuffin is, then, give it a Google, and then you'll understand.
Good plan.
Basically, this movie kicks off in a Russian submarine underneath the Antarctic somewhere, and they are on high alert because they've detected an enemy sub close by to them, and the enemy sub fires on them, and they retaliate by shooting a torpedo at it. The sub then disappears, and their own torpedo turns around and shoots them. Duh!
That's the intro. Done.
That's the intro. It turns out that there is some sort of rogue AI business going on, that controlled the submarine's computer systems and is somehow infecting the whole world's computery stuff. And of course, Ethan Hunt and his crew are dispatched to try and track down two halves of a key that has something to do with something that nobody really knows.
That's not even Rich. Not
even making that up. That is true.
No one in the film knows what they're
No one in the film knows what the key is for. Yeah. Like so essentially their plan is to let someone get their hands, the bad guys get their hands on the both halves of the key so they can then lead them to whatever it is that the key is for.
So they can tell them what the key is for. Again, this is actually a plot.
I'm not making this shit up.
No.
This is it. So yeah, Ethan tracks half of the key to I don't know where it is, somewhere sandy. I mean, literally, it's filmed in Leighton Buzzard, so could be anywhere. But yeah, somewhere sandy.
How is that filmed in Leighton Buzzard, by the way?
Well, because Leighton Buzzard has massive sandpits.
Where are the sandpits? I've never seen the sandpits.
All around, literally, it's like the place where people get sand from.
I didn't know that.
It's basically one massive sandpit.
My back garden would know that, actually, because it's just fucking clay and sand. Carry on, that's another problem.
Yeah. So it turns out that half the key is in the possession of Ilsa. Who are Ethan and Ilsa an item? I'm never sure. They're very cuddly.
I don't think they're sure, and they don't have time to find out.
Yeah, true. Ethan tracks her down, kills off a few dudes. There's some set pieciness. Recovers the bit of key, and they then find out that the other half of the key that they need is going to be in the possession of some dude in an airport in Abu Dhabi somewhere. So off they trot to go and find that, which is where Ethan runs into Grace, played by Hayley Atwell, a new character who is a thief who steals the other half of the key and eventually ends up joining the IMF, of course, because, why waste Hayley Atwell?
Yeah.
All the meanwhile, various people are trying to get their hands on the key, arrest Ethan Hunt, all this kind of nonsense. There's a guy called Gabriel, who is someone from Ethan's past, who is somehow a henchman of the AI, trying to get the key back, and I don't even know what's going on now. But I've kind of lost the plot by this point.
Yes.
And yeah, so far, so Mission Impossible.
Yes, and then cue mayhem.
Yeah. Cue lots of Tom Cruise trying to kill himself.
Running. And then there's Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames are there back again.
Yeah, they're back.
There's some previous faces from the first ever Mission Impossible. Kitteridge is back.
The White Widow's back.
Vanessa Kirby's back.
Pom Klementieff, who plays Paris. Yeah, lots of people. There's a few nice cameos as well.
It's a lot. Yeah. Does it work?
It's a lot. Does it work? In parts, I think it works. In parts. It's probably not my favourite of the franchise.
No.
I think it's got problems. I think those problems are mainly around the writing and the attempts at humour that I don't like.
Yes. We're going to have to get into that. Before we get into that, let's just have a quick brief history of our feelings towards the Mission Impossible franchise.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think that's interesting for listeners. So, are you a fan of the Mission Impossible franchise?
I have a weird kind of relationship with the Mission Impossible franchise. So, I watched the first one in the cinema, and it was the first movie I remember not liking.
Which is bizarre.
In the cinema.
It's a great film.
I know, and I've since watched it back, and really enjoyed it. But as a 15, 16-year-old boy, my cinematic awakening. And I watched it and I was like, wow, that's fucking stupid, isn't it?
Which part did you find stupid in particular?
All of it. I especially hated the bit where the helicopter crashes into the tunnel and the blade stops just in front of his face.
Okay.
I was like, well, to be honest, the air pressure alone would have ripped his nose off. So,
He's not wrong. So did you go and see Mission Impossible 2 or?
No, I never watched any other Mission Impossibles until we ranked them not long ago.
Wow.
So I didn't watch any until about a year ago when we did the ranking.
And how do we feel about them now?
I quite like them, to be honest. I don't like 2. I think 2 was rubbish.
2 is just a mess, but really bizarrely made John Woo. They threw everything at it, and They do joust with motorbikes at one point, but it's really
there's a lot of hair swishing.
It's really long and it's quite dull, I think. And I don't find Dougray Scott a very menacing bad guy personally.
No, but you know who is a menacing bad guy in these movies?
Yep.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is a menacing bad guy. So that pulled me back in number 3 because I think he's amazing.
He is amazing.
Then 4 is a bit dull. And then is 4 the one I'm thinking of?
4 is the Burj Khalifa one when he goes climbing.
Yeah, that's a bit dull. Do you not think?
Well, that lacks a Philip Seymour Hoffman, but it has.
Yeah,
it's the first one where they really up the stakes of doing really silly things.
And you know how much I like a bad guy, a good bad guy.
Well, yes, you need a good bad guy.
That's the thing for me. And I think they steadily get, they're really, really good from then on. Essentially, like Fallout's really good. And
Rogue Nation's
Ghost
great.
Protocol, Rogue Nation, that's the one that's really good. Ghost Protocol's the bad one. Rogue Nation's good.
Bad one is.
And then we get to this, and I don't know. I felt a bit flat about it, to be honest. Obviously, there's good big stuff in it. There's the big set pieces you come to expect, but I sort of need a little bit more than that these days. And I really hated the humour. The attempts at humour just felt really cheesy.
And when you're talking about the humour, are you talking about mainly about the car?
I'm talking about the Ethan Hunt sort of
the Tom Cruise
jokes
humor.
And stuff. Yeah, the Tom Cruise humour. It doesn't
really
land for me. I really didn't like that bloody car chase in the Fiat 500
around Rome.
I thought it was absolutely. I thought it was like the Fast and Furious one, but not as good.
Okay.
and also I just found the jokes really annoying. I don't mind it when Simon Pegg's the light relief. I just don't like the Ethan.
He's a very funny man, Simon Pegg.
Yeah. And I really like Hayley Atwell. I think she's probably the saving grace of the movie, essentially.
It's her movie, isn't it? Essentially. It's Gracie's
her.
story.
She completely steals the movie. Yeah, it's definitely hers.
She gets that second billing as well in this one.
Ving Rhames is great in it as Luther. Like, he's brilliant. I really like Vanessa Kirby. I think she's great. She's not in this enough. I think she could be in it a bit more. Yeah. But yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some weird stuff.
Do you feel a little bit let down by it? That's how I'm feeling from your reaction. Like going in, what were you going in thinking? Because we all watched that bit before Creed 3, and I was there with Rich, and we were proper hyped for it. That's in the bike thing. But do you feel like they showed their hand too much?
No, again, I think it comes down to the bad guy. I think these Mission Impossible movies really hinge on the villain being great, and the villain is essentially an AI.
Timely.
And it really loses something. Like, I don't know. It just feels very silly.
Well, this is still part 1, so we might get more from part 2 about, and they call the entity, and it's like a big Sauron eye, a digital Sauron eye, pretty much. And I agree with you. I think a lot of the times these films are let down by the bad guys, but they're normally elevated from the sheer Tom Cruisiness of them, especially the last 3.
I think it's okay. I think it's a spectacle. I think you're going to watch it and be like, oh, that's good. If you're really into your action stuff, that's, there's a lot in there for you, but the stuff in between is a bit dull.
Well, it feels like they're making up on the way, and I think if I've read reports rightly, they kind of do that on this film.
You can tell, you can really tell, because it feels like it's written on the fly,
which is worrying when it's a Chris McQuarrie written film, right?
Yeah, and it changes tone quite sharply in places. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one. It's a strange watch.
Yeah, because I'm the same as you. I was really excited going in, Rich. You know me. This weirdly a film about
this
AI.
Is your kind of thing, right?
If AI put a perfect action film in front of me, it would start all these people.
Yes, yeah, I get that.
Because I love like Simon Pegg, Hayley Atwell, Rebecca Ferguson, Tom Cruise running big stupid action pieces, and yet somehow I do feel a little bit about it. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed watching it. I had a lot of fun watching it, but I think it lacked the beginning was a different kind of beginning especially comes to the last two, there wasn't Tom Cruise hanging off the side of a plane kind of thing. It kind of took its time a little bit more. And apart from the Rome chase and the bike bit and, you know, a little bit on the train at the end when they were, by that point the story's kind of wrapped up and they're just trying to escape the train. And it feels a little bit CGI heavy in places. I kind of feel let down by it. And it's a bizarre thing to say because Tom Cruise did try and kill himself doing it.
Yeah, true. But then we saw all that in the kind of trailer before Creed 3, didn't we?
And that got me so hyped. And I thought they would be saving something we haven't seen somewhere, a little bit something.
Yeah. Because I was watching it, him doing that bike jump. I was like, oh, all that CGI, We've seen where he actually jumps off in the in the making bit.
It's impressive.
In the trailer.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It is impressive. It's the guy has no fear, obviously, but
and their stunts are brilliantly put together, and the fighting's great. But like you, Rich, I think it might be the story.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
This episode is brought to you by Nerds Candy, calling all the gaming, tech-savvy nerds out there. The team carriers and keyboard warriors, the achievement hunters and part-time LARPers, the tech wizards and boss destroyers. When nerds come together, we live louder, leveling up in our own way. So let's raise our nerds in unison. The sweet, tangy, crunchy candy that's perfect for sharing. Nerds, shake things up. Shop now at nerdscandy.com.
It's taken me a few days to really try and work my way through my feelings from it, because there are bits that I really enjoyed the Tom Cruise humour, but again, Tom Cruise beer goggles, and I liked the little race around in the Fiat 500 that is an amped up Fiat 500, right? Like an electric. I think it's an electric.
Well, I hope it is, because otherwise that's wholly unrealistic. But yeah, I think, because Tom Cruise gets in it and he presses a button and he crashes it and he's like, oh, like he's a granddad.
And they're handcuffed together, aren't they? And
they're handcuffed together, and there's a bit where they like turn over and they end up in each other's seats and stuff. And I'm like, it's just a bit silly. It's just a bit too much,
I didn't have a problem with that, and I liked the airport stuff, but it just, apart from the bike bit, it didn't. I can't believe I'm saying this. It didn't feel big enough. And people are going to probably be like, are you mad? There's all this other stuff. But I'm thinking about it. And what we got? A submarine at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
We've got...
Which is all CGI, basically.
Yeah. We've got the airport. Oh, we've got the bit in the desert, which is okay.
Yeah.
There's another sandstorm.
Yeah.
We've seen that in 4.
Bit of Leighton Buzzard.
Buzzards. Then we get to the airport, which is quite fun. There's nothing really... He runs over the airport, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like Simon Pegg tracks down a bag.
And then we go to Rome for the car chase.
Yeah.
And then we go to Venice for the party.
Venice. We have a little bit of running through Venice, don't they?
A little bit of running through Venice. And then it's the...
They all look moody on a boat for a bit.
Yeah. And then we go on the train, right? There's nothing between...
Yeah.
And the train sequence involves the bike sequence and the train, which, again... They blew up a bridge and crashed a train, which is great.
All very convenient. There's some convoluted bits in it to get things to happen.
Well, that's the point of Mission Impossible. They're like, we'll find a way.
Like Benji, like Simon Pegg's character's like, I don't know what happened. The mask machine just stopped working. Oh no, sorry, you're going to have to jump off a cliff on a motorbike instead.
That's a plot point. Maybe 3-4 times they said, we'll just find a way. We'll figure it out.
We'll work it as we go along.
And that's what we do. And I think by this point, we buy that.
What I want to know is, how did Gabriel get those bombs on that bridge? The big train bridge that he blows up.
I'm trying to think of a really sensible answer for you. He must have lots of people working for him.
Well, yeah, but still.
Impressive, though, right?
Pretty hard to get there. And why?
To blow up the train?
But why?
To make sure the entity is still working? I don't know. I don't know the relationship between Gabriel, like you said, the entity. I'm not quite sure how they met. Quote.
Yeah. How did they meet? How did they meet? It's a little bit
internet?
like. It reminds me of kind of Charlie Day and the brain thing in
Pacific Rim Uprising.
Pacific Rim Uprising.
He's fucking the entity, isn't he?
How did you two meet?
Who introduced you?
Oh, met at work. How did you meet this disembodied brain? Hi, Gabriel. How did you meet your AI friend? Don't know.
We don't know. We don't
Just
get told.
bumped into each other in the pub.
And also, the entity was made by the Americans. That's one of the plot points, right? They mention that, like, we
think so.
We slyly released it to them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information at some point in the room at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit lost. I was too busy spotting the cameos, basically. You've got, like, Mark Gatiss, Rob Delaney, there's
the guy with the voice.
Varma.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, Charles Purnell, the guy with the voice.
Like Silk.
Yeah. And then they all say a line each, and then that's it. They're out of it. And what's his name? I'm not going to get his name right. It's Carrie Ells?
I know who you mean. The Princess Bride.
The guy from Princess Bride, yeah. Whose name I could never say.
Again, that's the problem. I'm not quite sure who the good guys and the bad guys are at the end of this film, because Chris Etheridge is... I've watched this film and I'm still quite sure what he's doing.
Yeah. You're not sure who's a bad guy and who's not, and... Well,
we'll find out soon.
Mission Impossible, isn't it? And I mean, this isn't really my sort of genre. It's not the sort of film I kind of search out.
It's my really. Shit. Though.
It's yours. It's definitely your kind of genre. I normally like something that's a little bit more two blokes talking. I think is
he likes a Social Network,
as you've described.
Moneyball.
I like an Aaron Sorkin written, drama.
Two men talking on a
dramedy.
telephone shouting at each other. That's Rich's favourite film.
Yeah, sorting the world out. Give me Moneyball any day.
Yeah. We got to talk about Rebecca Ferguson quickly and how underused, wasted. What word would you use?
Underused and... Are we spoiling this? Are we having spoilers?
I said at the beginning we're having spoilers.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Underused and killed off way too early.
I love her.
Do you think she's actually dead?
Yes, she was stabbed in the heart, right?
Yeah, but you never know with Mission Impossible, do you?
Dun, dun,
it's a bit like Fast and Furious.
Maybe that was her way out.
I think she's definitely underused. But yeah, it could be her way out, couldn't it? Fake her death a bit. I think Pom Clementieff is a bit underused as well.
I think she's meant to be like a Bond bad guy. I think she's meant to be mute a lot of the time.
Yeah, but but then there's that weird thing where she just turns because Ethan doesn't kill her. She's like, oh, he showed me some kindness after beating the shit out of me.
But doesn't Gabriel say at some point the entity said this would happen or something?
Yeah. Basically, he shoots her, doesn't he? Because he says, you're going to betray me because he didn't kill you. And I'm like, well, I know the entity's an algorithm, but it can't know the future. It can work things out and say these things are likely to happen, but they can't say they definitely will happen.
And also, we can't work out how the entity is operating from the bottom of the Antarctic Sea.
That's a good point. So the entity is... on the submarine, right? Is that the thing? So the thing they've got to get to with the key MacGuffin-y job is on the submarine.
Yeah,
and they think that's like the kill switch, like the server for the entity. But how the fuck's it got off that submarine and then into everything else?
I think, like I said, they describe it in that room with all the cameos, that the entity has somehow leached itself on. Again, I'm not quite sure what the Wi-Fi is like down at the Antarctic or whatever, or if it's living somewhere else.
I'm not sure Christopher Quarry knows how the internet works.
Well, I don't, so I'm not going to question him on that.
Chris McQuarrie. Is it Chris McQuarrie?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's just call him
that right.
McHugh. That's what everyone else seems.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's what Tom Cruise calls him.
I'm not sure he knows how the internet works. I don't want to call him McHugh because it makes me think of McG, and that's not a good thing.
Are you a little bit worried about the next one now, part 2? Because I was so hyped for this.
I am a bit. How long have we got till part 2? Did they record them? Did they film them both at the same time?
They're still filming, and this is the bad news.
Oh.
This is the bad news. We are, as when we're recording this, there is an actor's strike on. So a lot of films have down-tooled, including Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Mission : Impossible - Dead Reckoning - Part 2.
Part 2.
And so's like Deadpool 3, and we're meant to be getting there next year, so we're not going to get any films.
They were filming in Pitstone just up the road as well.
Again, in the sand?
No, that's different. Pitstone's a different village.
Oh,
I think they've got like a gravel pit or something that they're filming in.
You should come to my quarry pit. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I know when we were talking here, and it sounds like I am a little bit disappointed, but I did have fun. I still don't know how I feel about this film, Rich. To be honest, I feel I'm gonna have to watch it again. I sat there and I was like, oh, liking this, enjoying dun dun boom action. But then when I compare it to what the last two are, I don't think it's as good.
Oh, it's nowhere near as good as Fallout. It's not, and it's not as good as Rogue Nation. No, which one's the one before
Rogue Nation? I think Rogue Nation is better than Fallout.
Yeah, I think Rogue Nation is better than Fallout. This is not as good as Fallout. In fact, I would say this is pretty low down on my ranking list. I would even put it maybe second from bottom.
Is that because the others are so good?
Well, the others are good.
Because you like 3, and at this point.
I do like 3. I put 3 above this. I think 3 is better than this. I think this is on a level with maybe... So I think 2 is the worst, and then it's Ghost Protocol, and then this. So maybe this is third from bottom, not second from bottom. Because I think this is better than Ghost Protocol, because Ghost Protocol is another one that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I prefer the Ghost Protocol big scene than I did the big scene in this film, I think. But is it a better film? Probably not, because weirdly, the Gabriel entity is still a better bad guy that's in the fourth one. Even though I don't think it's a great bad guy, but I think the impending doom and the big danger of AI, aka Skynet, by the way. Let's call it what it is. This is Skynet.
This is a full-on Terminator.
It's come self-aware. We're in danger.
Yeah.
It's going to release all the nuclear bombs soon, I reckon. And the big plot is that all the governments, agencies, all want to...
Everyone's after it, basically.
We haven't even mentioned the FBI agents yet, Rich.
We haven't. The pointless FBI agents who are somehow bumbling idiots. So Shea Wiggum and... What's the other guy's name? Greg Tarzan Davis.
Is that his name?
It's Tarzan, isn't it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's Tarzan.
Brilliant. But the guy from Maverick, Top Gun Maverick.
The guy from Top Gun Maverick, yeah. I'm sure it's
great middle
Greg
name.
Tarzan Davis. So yeah,
I'm confused what they're kind of doing in this film.
I thought you were about to say you're confused between him and Greg Davis from Taskmaster for a second.
I know those two people are very different people.
They're very different people.
No, I'm very confused at what they're doing in this film.
I think they're very confused about what they're doing in this film, to be honest, Dave. I don't know. They are very pointless. You don't need this.
Bigs up, he used to have a relationship. We haven't even talked about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
There's history somewhere with, I don't think Ethan Hunt even... Actually, Ethan Hunt gives them a look at one point saying, I remember you. They look at each other, but it's never mentioned.
Okay.
We might get that in Dead Reckoning Part 2. We were also a little bit confused about if Gabriel was in the first Mission Impossible, but I had to put that to bed that he wasn't.
No, yeah, I did. I wasn't sure, because they sort of do a flashback on this one, don't they? And I wasn't sure if it's if the first Mission Impossible movie tells you how Ethan Hunt gets recruited, but I don't think it does it?
No, I didn't even. I thought he was always in it, but it turns out that Ethan Hunt had previously done something bad, and to get him to work for the IMF, they squashed his past.
Whatever it was, or it was Gabriel killed Ethan's partner, and then Ethan was framed for it, wasn't he?
Here we go.
over the dead body of his partner.
See, this is how
Gabriel had
stupid I am.
disappeared. And I wasn't sure if that was in the first movie or not. I couldn't remember.
I don't believe it is. No, it isn't. I know it isn't.
Yeah, okay.
So they did some de-aging or aged up or aged down.
I'm not sure.
That character.
I think Gabriel is aged up. I think he's younger than he looks in these movies.
Do you think they just dyed his hair grey and beard grey?
I think so, yeah. I think they just greyed him up.
How do you feel he plays that role? Because it's not an easy role, I don't think, that guy.
It's kind of boring.
A little bit,
really.
dull, wasn't it?
A little bit dull. In no way menacing at all.
Yeah, it's...
yeah. I'll tell you another bit that annoys me, actually. It's why they couldn't... Yeah, I don't understand. So, in Mission Impossible, it's all about the masks, right? That's the gimmick. They love a mask.
That's one of the gimmicks, yeah.
Yeah, they always there's always a really lifelike mask thing. And so there's a point where Hayley Atwell dresses as Vanessa Kirby. By the way, they have completely different body shapes. So they look like it's so obvious.
But that's been a problem for all these films.
Yeah, it has, yeah. But what they don't do, they leave Hayley Atwell's brown eyes. They don't give her contacts. And so it's Vanessa Kirby playing Hayley Atwell, playing Vanessa Kirby's character, the White Widow.
Yeah.
And so they've given Vanessa Kirby brown contacts. But I don't understand why no one's gone, hang on a minute, you used to have really blue eyes.
Like Zola,
why
the
are your
brother,
eyes
yeah.
brown? Yeah, like her brother. Like, I don't get it. Like, yeah.
See, I didn't even get that. I remember watching that scene. It's like, something's wrong here. Something's wrong with Vanessa Kirby. And it's until you mentioned it, I was like, oh, that's what it was. She's got
brown eyes. Yeah.
God, yes, it made me feel uneasy, to be honest.
It's odd. And if you were her brother, if you felt uneasy watching it, if you were her brother, you'd definitely be like, I ain't right.
I agree. Yeah. There's definitely big plot holes, I would say.
Yeah.
Please get in contact, everyone, if you know what we don't.
Oh, yeah. By all means, if we miss something, which is quite likely, we're not very clever.
No. It also is quite a contained middle film. There isn't an element of an ending. I mean, it does...
Yeah, it sort of has an end, doesn't it? Like, I guess,
Yes.
But then you've got another one coming up. There's no end credit sequence or anything like that. It's, Mission Impossible don't really do that, do they? That's not their thing.
They just pan to the submarine and went, we're going here.
Yeah. Not really a cliffhanger as such. Just kind of a...
No, the cliffhanger was that I keep calling him Tom Cruise, but Ethan Hunt, they got the key.
Yeah.
So...
That's yeah.
We're going to go underwater in the next one.
They got the MacGuffin. Now they need to figure out what the MacGuffin does.
But still, they
still don't know what it does.
Really?
This is the thing. They know they've got to get the key. They knew it does something on this submarine, but they don't know what.
It's weird because Pom, the Paris character, her name is, kind of describes what it is, and I was like, I still don't get it. Still don't, because she heard the conversation between Gabriel and Princess Bride guy.
Yeah.
That's why he wanted to kill her in the end, because I think she heard the same information he heard. And the only person that's meant to have that information is the entity's lover.
Yes. Yeah, Gabriel. Oh, mate.
So what we're trying to get at is that after all that, I think I'm disappointed, but I also enjoyed it. So I don't understand my feelings.
Oh, so what would you? Where would you?
Are we going to do the question? Are we?
Let's do the question. Yeah.
Let's do the question. Unequal sequel, yes or no? And what do we rate it out of 7? Okay.
Well, it's definitely an unequal sequel. I think we can both agree on that. It's not as good as Fallout by quite a long way, I would say.
It's not as good as Rogue Nation. I think it's bang in the middle Mission Impossible film for me.
Okay.
I think there's elements that are great. I just don't think it's
I'm not sure there's anything
film
that I found great.
Great.
I think it's
tight, as
all
Tony
right.
would say.
Yeah, I think it's all right. So I thinking like Rotten Tomatoes-y.
Yeah, oh God.
Like, it probably would count as a positive review because I think it's a 3 out of 5 movie. So for our purposes, like a 4 out of 7. I'm saying?
I think that 4.5. Oh god,
it's not a 5. It's not getting a 5 from me.
4.5.
4 is where it sits, and it should be damn lucky it's got that.
I feel like I've done something bad if I say below a certain thing, because this is a $300 million film, by the way.
It's not your fault.
And it's it's not. I didn't spend all the money.
You didn't spend it.
I do appreciate that they really, really tried through the pandemic. So thank you for keeping that going. And and I always enjoy watching Tom Cruise on the big screen. And it definitely is, I think, a film to watch on the big screen.
Oh yeah, definitely. We both watched it in IMAX, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's worth the money to go and watch it in IMAX.
The scene with him with the bike and the jump is very good, and they send drones down there to film it. And at one point he's talking, and it's all flapping in his face, and it's all very impressive. Don't get me wrong, but that's all it seems to be is in this one is just that. I've seen him run, I've seen him fight, I've seen him drive cars. I think the bike chase in Rogue Nation's better, and the Casablanca car chase in Rogue Nation as well. And I think there's a car chase in Fallout. The Halo dive is better, and the fights are better in Fallout, in the bathroom of Henry Cavill. And I think
There's
ending...
loads better.
Once you start thinking of comparing it to other Mission Impossible films, I think, and hopefully you guys are with me, that it starts slipping a little bit more, and it keeps showing itself. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm not saying you shouldn't go and enjoy it, because you will have fun. I just think once you've stepped away from it for a couple of days, and it's 2.5 hours long. It's
long. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Will I go and see it in the cinema? Probably not, because I haven't got time, because it's going to be knocked off the screens by Barbie.
Barbenheimer.
Yeah. So we won't have to.
Which I'm really looking forward to.
Already booked in to see Barbie.
I'm going to do it. I'm 100%. I'm going to double bill it. I'm going to watch Oppenheimer and then Barbie to cheer myself up afterwards.
I'm going Barbie, and then I don't know when I'm going to see Oppenheimer, because it's my wedding anniversary's coming up. So that's the weekend. So I couldn't squeeze in both. But the wife is very excited to see Barbie. So and I want to see Oppenheimer on IMAX. I want to see As God Intended It, Christopher Nolan, on the 70mm IMAX screen.
Fair enough.
I tried to educate the wife, Tiff, the other day of the different kinds of IMAX, and she's like, "Oh, there's an IMAX in Milton Keynes." I was like, "Yeah, but that's not 70mm, that's digital," and blah blah blah. She's like, "I learned so much from you." I think she was being patronising.
Yeah,
but this was fun. It was fine, which is ultimately not a good thing for a Mission Impossible film, I think.
No.
Ask me again next week, and I might change my mind.
If you want to let us know what you thought of Mission Impossible, then get yourself on the old social media. We are at Unequal Sequel on Twitter, for as long as it exists, on Instagram, and now on Threads as well. So get in touch with us on one of those. Tell us what you thought of Mission Impossible. If you think we're mad and it's the best film ever made, tell us. If you think we're mad and it's the worst film you've ever seen, also tell us. We'll read out all your comments in our end of month roundup. Even if you're calling us idiots, we'll still read them out.
Oh yes, we love that.
Oh yeah. In fact, definitely if you're calling us idiots. If you do want to call us idiots as well, then get on Apple Podcasts and tap us out a little review. As long as you give us 5 stars, we don't really care what you call us. Really helps others to find the podcast. So thanks for that. Give us a little heart, a little tick, whatever it is on your pod player of choice. We will really appreciate you doing that for us. If you really, really like these episodes, then get yourself onto anotherslice.com/unequal sequel, and for just $2.99 a month, then you can join our subscription service, where you will not only get Box Set Mentality and Disenfranchised, which are basically 2 extra podcasts on their own. You'll also get sequels to all of our interview episodes, which are getting so long now that they're almost like an episode in their own. So get on there, have a listen. There's a few freebies on there, so you can go and give it a try without having to pay anything. But yeah, do give us, do sign up. That $2.99 a month really is worth it, because you get all those extra podcasty bits.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I still can't get over this film in a good way or bad way. I feel like I've cheated on someone. I feel dirty. And I don't think I'll be able to live with myself for very long. Thank you for listening, everyone. Sorry if it's been a bit of a downer. I was really, really hoping to really, really, really love this film. It's going to go into the disappointing camp in future questions, Rich.
Yeah.
I fear it.
I think it is, mate. I think it is.
I mean, it's still not as disappointing as Matrix Reloaded, but we're okay.
No, it's not the most disappointing movie ever.
No,
but
not yet.
It's not even, not yet.
Thank you for listening.
Never know.
I've got nothing else to say, so it's a goodbye from me. So farewell, and a goodbye from him.
Bye.
See you next week. The sequel to this one. Have an absolutely fabulous week, and ta-ta, bye-bye.
Nice. I thought you were going to say, and a happy new year at the end.
It's not quite. But we are just over halfway through the year now. I know. Would you like that?
It's mad, isn't it?
Oh, it's going fast.
I blinked. It was January a minute ago, I swear.
It was. You were ill.
Oh, yeah, true. Well, but that could be any month.